All right. Hey, y'all. This is Brother Hatil coming at you live and direct. And once again, I have to welcome you to Gye-Nyame. Oops. Oh, my God. I just messed up. I'm experimenting, and I'm trying to get used to doing some stuff. So, right now, I'm trying to record a live video. Why I do the show? Because, like I said, I want to encroach on this YouTube territory. You know what I'm saying? Because, being a nation builder has to acquire territory. So now, we done got this podcasting piece together. I want to start doing something positive and powerful with the YouTube. So here we go, right? I'm trying to extend my move into YouTube at this point in time. So what I want to do right now is I'm recording video of my screen. I'm being joined by my brother Charles Trailer, and I don't know who else is going to bless me with their presence tonight. But however it goes down, it's going to go down. Now, so this is what we're going to do. I'm going to make a couple of announcements, and we're going to get right into the show. All right, so first off, I want to make sure that everybody that's here knows about the Gye-Nyame Journey page. Make sure you join the Gye-Nyame Journey page. As those that's going to be watching the video in the future, you're going to be able to see the Gye-Nyame Journey page right here, right now. Facebook.com/GYENYAME Journey.com. Also, for those that are looking for another way to support the journey, right? Those that's looking for other ways to support the journey, you can always check us out on Patreon. And those that's on YouTube right now, you can check us out on Patreon. For those that don't know, go to www.patreon.com/GNJ. Right now, the reason I'm doing a Patreon is because some people say, "Brother, I tell you, we don't want to do the habit." I got people that say, "Hey, we don't want to do the habit. Don't say it was no money, but hey, we do want to donate to what you're doing." So one of the ways you can do that is just donating through Ambit, or just going straight to the Gye-Nyame Journey page. Hell, buy a book. I don't care. The point is, we're going to keep this moving. We're going to keep it going. We're going to keep it growing. We're going to build. So now, tonight, I am being joined by Brother Charles Trailer, who called in exactly at 9 p.m. He read this story, and he wanted to come on and rapitates with me and share his insight. We're going to get in, we're going to tear it up, and we're going to get out. But before we do that, of course, y'all know I have to let y'all know you are now listening to Gye-Nyame Journey Radio. I am your host, Brother Hatim, and this is Folk Tales for Grown Folks. And of course, this is a Heart of a Simple production, where we strive to blow up your old paradigms. Alright, so bringing to you right now, we're about to jump straight into Folk Tales for Grown Folks. We got the folk tale of the night is The Wolves and the Sheepdog. Is a powerful one, is a life-changing one. And before we get into it, I want to give Brother Charles Trailer an introduction. Give him a round of applause. And give him a couple minutes if he need to go on and introduce himself and share something that he want to share with everybody.
Sure. Thanks, man. Brother Charles Trailer. Been a warrior in this struggle for a long time, and I tell you, man, I like a lot of folks that went through the educational system in America. I was always taught that Aesop's fables were just that, fables, fairy tales, untruths, just stories to entertain, but never anything true. But since my introduction, with Brother Hatim about Aesop's fables, I have found that Aesop's fables were really They were stories that Brother Aesop put together that actually, chronicles the history and the plight of our people. The stories, our history is hidden in these fables, and none so more correctly than this one that we're going to be dealing with this evening.
Oh my
The
God!
wolves and the sheepdogs.
Oh my God! I read this one. I mean, like I be thinking 1 week, all right, this is gonna be the week, but then every so often I get one where I got to be. I'm like, damn. See, this is gonna change some lives. This is going to win some territory. This is gonna help develop some economic life. This is a true nation builder piece. For those that don't know what a nation builder is, right? A nation builder is well, first let's look at a nation. A nation is a stable, historically developed community, people with territory, economic life, distinctive culture, and a language in common, right? Now, in a nation building, you have to acquire territory, you have to develop an economic life, you know what I'm saying? You have to be developing and learning about your distinctive culture, and you have to be building up on your language, or you're not nation building. So now, when we sharing these fables, what we're doing, we are building up on all those things. You know what I'm saying? We're establishing our mental territory, because you can't control no physical territory unless you got your mental territory controlled, right? We establish an economic life. They didn't say just a business, they call it economic life. So when it comes to nation building, we got to build all those things that I just mentioned. But hey, we're going to get into this. We just was joined by my sister, Miss Janice Raleigh, and I want to make sure she get a round of applause. I know y'all can't hear that. I got sound effects, but hey, they can hear y'all, and that's all that counts. So for anybody else that's bold enough to join us in this conversation, hit us up at 614-556-4535. 614-556-4535. There we go. All right, so now, first I need to put on my solo music, my freestyle. Turn it down so that everybody can be heard, but get that underlying beat, because we Africans gotta have that, have that little underlying beat. So now, I'm going to read the folktale. The wolves thus address the sheepdogs. Why should you, who are like us in so many things, not be entirely one of one mind with us, and live with us as brothers should? We differ, you in one point only. We live in freedom, but you bow down to the slave. You bow down and slave for men, who in return for your services flog you with whips and put collars on your necks. They make you also guard their sheep, and while they eat the mutton, throw only the bones to you. If you will be persuaded by us, you will give us the sheep, and we will enjoy them in common till we all are surfeited. The dogs listened favorably to these proposals, and entering the den of the wolves, they were set upon and torn to pieces. I'm gonna read that again, because that shit right there. Wait, hold on. I gotta. That gets the bomb. Oh, that gets a silver roar. That gets the cry to wait. And I'm gonna read it from the book. I try to read it from the screen, but it's kind of hard. I got to get into my book. I like the paper. I mean, I'm starting to read a lot more off the computer now, but I really love this paper. The wolves thus address the sheepdogs. Why should you, who are like us in so many things, not be entirely of one mind with us, and live with us as brothers should? We differ from you in one point only. We live in freedom. But you bow down to and slave for men, who in return for your services flog you with whips and put collars on your necks. They make you also guard their sheep, and while they eat the mutton, throw only the bones to you. If you will be persuaded by us, you will give us the sheep, and we will enjoy them in common till we are all surfeited. The dogs listened favorably to these proposals, and entering the den of the wolves, they were set upon and torn to pieces. Now I don't know who want to go first. I don't know if y'all want me to go first on that one. You know, cause hey, I'm like, I'm bugging. Sister Janice, is it all right with you, or you want to hit it first?
No, go ahead. I'm good. Go ahead.
Hey, listen. Everybody that's listening. One of the first things that came to my mind, what is the difference between a sheepdog and a wolf? I had to ponder this for a while. What is the difference between a sheepdog and a wolf? They are both of the same species. They are both canines, what would be called canines. They are both dogs, but they come from totally different environments, right? They come from totally different circumstances. One has been, quote unquote, domesticated. The other one has remained wild. And one of the things that kept coming to my mind is, just because somebody look like you, just because somebody smell like you, just because someone is the same color, or has the same hairstyle, has the same clothing, wears the same fur as you, may even get the fleas just like you, just because they got all those things in common with you, does not mean that they have your best interests at heart. Black folks got to realize, just because somebody's black don't mean that they black. You know what I'm saying? Just because they're black don't mean that they with you. And that's the first thing that came to my mind. But also something else that came to my mind, and I need to make sure everybody understands this, right? This is from me being a gangster movie aficionado. I guess that's how you say it. You know what I'm saying? One of the things I have noticed is that once a traitor comes to the other side is not supposed to let the traitor live. The dogs were set. The dogs were soldiers on one side of the battlefield. They betrayed the ones that had taken care of them, the ones that had, in a sense, did all the stuff that the dogs had said, the ones who had fed them. And the first thing that the wolves did once they got them in private was tear them to shreds. You watch every gangster movie. There's no gangster movies where somebody switch sides. They allow the traitor to live? It's not allowed. Even for that's knowledge we need to understand. Once somebody becomes a traitor, they could never be trusted again. They should never be trusted again. I'm gonna leave it right there for now. But I just wanted to throw that out there. You know what I'm saying? But there's some other stuff buried down in there. Anybody else want to hit it?
Well, you know what? One of the things, when I read this, the first thing that jumped out to me, I had to read it again because it sounded like it was a conversation between two slaves. You know, a house Negro and a field Negro. And one was trying to persuade the other one to understand that, look, we only different by our circumstance. I live in the house and you live in the field. And if you would just come and be, with me and be with your kind, we can overtake this master. We can overtake him together. And then we can all eat at the table and get full. That's what that word "prophetic" means, is to overindulge, and the one slave thought that was, to be, and it was a betrayal, because soon as, he gave up his position of where he was at, he was devoured, and that's really what has happened when you look at, all of the black folks that are given, let's say, opportunities. Like, how they pluck one or two of us out of the community.
Wow.
And, what I'm saying, and give us, affluence and access. And then their role is to persuade, other black folks to come and join them. It's like the Democratic Republican Party.
There you go.
And what they use, a few to try to take over, the many, but they're really trying to devour you and take away anything that resembles your free thinking away from you. So when I read it, man, I said, wow, let me read this again, man, because this is like truth hidden. This is like truth hidden the fables, like the old Negro spirituals that were a way of communicating for slaves to go to freedom.
And the first step to freedom is first freeing your mind. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So for me, the wolves, see, because now anytime somebody's talking about just filling their belly, see, because like in Gye-Nyame, we talk about heart, we talk about hustling from the heart. You know what I'm saying? These wolves was hustling from the stomach. So their mission, their goal was not to overthrow man.
Right.
Their goal was just to satisfy their hunger. They was hustling from their stomach. They wasn't concerned about the dog freedom. And the dog got sweet talk, because a lot of us, and what's crazy about this is that I have found myself in situations like this as a sheepdog, and unfortunately as a wolf. You know what I'm saying? As a sheepdog, I have been lured into a den and barely escaped the claws and the fangs of wolves, because they looked like me, they sounded like me, they talked like me. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, oh my God, this is beautiful. I mean, this is a beautiful idea. But as soon as I stepped into the den, the difference came out. See, because it's hard for a free thing and a thing that is a servant to mix up. You know what I'm saying? It's hard. It's hard for those two things to come together. Those are two totally different mind states. One is bent on survival by any means. The other one survives, but it survives by
somebody else's means.
By mastering something and making itself useful to others, while the other one just makes itself useful to itself. So one will go and get what they need to be fed. The other one wait to be fed. Yeah. And Aesop wrestles. Well, I ain't gonna say wrestle. Aesop shares this perspective over and over again with because we liable to run into another sheepdog and wolf scenario, but he did one with the ass and the wild ass. I mean, the whole motif of the slave and the free comparing lives often come in, and I mean, he does an excellent job in like a paragraph and giving you a touch of the psychology behind what's going on. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm like, man, I'm mesmerized every time. I ain't gonna say every time, because some of them aren't that good. But for the last couple of weeks, we have really been blessed with the information, because now, I mean, I'm looking at politics in a totally different way now. You know what I'm saying?
Me too, man.
Who is trying to get me into a den?
Right.
Who? I mean, you know what I'm saying? And because he's very clear what happens once you get into the den. He's very clear with what happened. And I like how you put it. You said that it wasn't necessarily them tearing them up physically, but trying to tear any semblance of them being able to think for themselves. That's how they tear us up nowadays, right? They get us in the den of Ohio State University. Get us in the dens of the dens of higher learning, and they tear our shit. They tear us up. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, oh man, I said, oh my God. I mean, let me read this one more thing. The wolves thus address the sheepdogs. Why should you, who are like us in so many things, not be entirely of one mind with us? I mean, that's straight pimp talk.
Right. I mean,
I'm gonna go to the bar and use that line. Excuse me. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Why should you, who are like me in so many things, not be entirely of one mind with me? That's a cold line. That's a cold line. I'm just joking. But hey, man. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But Minister Farrakhan, I can remember him, using some of that language, and I'm not saying it in a disparaging way, but I've heard him, and I've heard the Nation of Islam. They espouse the mantra that black man, why are you so against the Muslim when we have the same thing in common, except that the Muslim mine is free and yours is not.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
Now you got me kind of wary now, man.
You know what I'm saying? And then you talk about the elections. This is for the first time in my life, man. I found myself, revisiting, the whole, rationale of voting if it ain't going to change, if only thing you're doing is changing masters.
Oh, so you went all the way back to the ass and the old man.
That's right.
See, I mean, and this is what's so striking about these folktales, man. It's like, I mean, I'm in my late 40s, and I'm reading these things, and I am actually like rethinking things I was solid on just a couple of years ago. I'm like, it got to be this way, right? But then I start reading these folktales, and I'm start conversating. I'm like, I'm back at a point where, like, damn, I don't know anything anymore. You know what I'm saying?
But that's what thinking is, though. Thinking is really there is no end. You're constantly reevaluating, and that's what thinking is.
Boo.
That's what most people don't do.
Exactly. It's so hard, man. It's so hard, and it's so uncomfortable not knowing. And I think that's one of the reasons some people give in to. You know how some people can get so locked into a religion? You know what I'm saying? That you can't. That they are not receptive to any questions outside of that. Any question that you bring, because y'all can have a conversation. You can be having a good conversation, and then they'll say something, and you will say something on a conscious variety, and they will totally blank all that out and fall in. It's almost like you talking to another person, because it gives you a sense of certainty. But like Janice says, that thinking, man, always
thinking is always fluid. Always. Yeah, it never stops.
Yeah. And you know something else, and thinking to me is a process of regeneration, of regenerating your brain capacity. Because if you are not thinking, then you just gonna turn your brain off. So you have to continue. It's a continuous process. It's like having a TV on all the time, never turning it off.
So I mean, and I like how she put it. She said it's a fluid thing. You know what I'm saying? It's not still. It should always be flowing, and we should be concerned. So in a sense, Sister Janice, we should be concerned when we stop flowing. When we come to a certain point of certainty. I just heard I think it's an astrophysicist. I was just watching an interview, and he says the perfect state for an astrophysicist is uncertainty and confusion.
Right.
He said, because he said, I can't be sure about anything in the universe if I'm going to be truly a scientist worth my salt. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us, we get caught up in that we're right. And in some instances, that's what I mean. Sometimes I get caught up in wolf mode, and I'll draw somebody into the den and tear their ass up. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? And I'm trying, and as I grow, I'm trying to get away from that, because it's kind of like that's a mind state that you kind of get set in, because it's like it's so many people that come at you like that. I got religious people coming at me like that. You know, that very close to me. I got people coming at me from other angles on some totally ignorant shit coming at me like that. So I have developed these fangs that if a motherfucker get too, you know what I'm saying, you get too, I'm gonna tear you up. Come into my DM if you want to. You know what I'm saying? And in a sense, I stop my mind from flowing, because in that moment, because really that's one of the things about fear. Fear stops that motion that she talking about. It stops that fluidity, it becomes stiff.
And I'm gonna tell you something else, man. If you stop yourself from thinking, then to me that is a form of self-retardation, because retard is to stop growing. And when you stop thinking, you really retard your growth. So, I mean, thinking, it's just endless. I mean, there's no end to thinking.
Well, it's not supposed to be.
It's not supposed to be.
It's not
but
supposed
those
to be.
Those that you know, stop thinking, I think, you know, at that point you stop living.
I mean, but I think my point is the brain never stops working. Physiologically, It never stops working. That's why people need to understand that even very young children are impacted by the things they see and hear, and the brain never stops. And so to stop, I don't think it's possible to stop thinking. What I think is possible is for people to not know how to harness the power of thought, to do things with it to impact their own lives. That's why there's a lot of people with operating brains that do not use them.
Wow.
And I think that so let me just share what I think about this. When I read this fable, the thing that I think about is really this current election, because the fact of the matter is, I mean, and on a whole lot of levels, the fact of the matter is, elections in this nation have always been about electing someone who almost always has been born into wealth or privilege. And we are, those of us who have lifted ourselves by our bootstraps, continue to struggle, we make a modest means. All of us are driven to damn near insanity to cast our ballot for a person who has never and will never understand what it's like to actually, for example, have to work to eat. And so when I compare it to the fable, when they were having a conversation with each other, there's very little difference between us. But if you do this or I do that, then together we might achieve this. When you look at this election, the thing about that devil is that he is convincing people that though I was born into privilege and I have never given anything to anybody in need, if you put me in the highest office, I'll make everything better for everybody. It's illogical. It is literally illogical.
Right.
Yeah. But isn't
right. It's just diametrically opposite positions.
Right.
Well, I mean, y'all leave the great pumpkin alone. He's doing the best that he
The
can.
great pumpkin, and there it is.
You know what I'm saying? He's doing the best that he can with what he got, you know. I mean, but then also, I mean, because I was thinking because last time we spoke, I had to go and go back to my research and remind myself because Janice, you brought up a point about, and I want to ask you about the sorority thing that we talked about earlier too, but I'll bring that up in a second. But you said you had stopped studying slavery because it started changing you. And one of the things that I had to remember, because like we were sick coming out of slavery, but then when you think about it and you add up and you look at our timeline here in America, and I'm gonna talk a little bit more about this on Friday because I think I'm going to sound the siren of fuckery on Nixon, from Nixon forward. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just ridiculous. Because when you really look at our timeline, we was introduced on this continent. Well, you know, some people will argue that point, but for a majority of us, or a lot of us, I can't even say majority, many of us were introduced to this continent through the intercontinental slave trade or the captive trade. That lasted and took us into Jim Crow. We had the brief period of the Reconstruction, but then it went into the Jim Crow piece, which a lot of people, I'm really looking at the dates, and Jim Crow didn't actually end till almost 1970, which was the same time that the war on drugs immediately hit. So it's almost as if we have been under siege from the moment we got off the ship all the way up until present day. So for us to make any forward progress is damn near miraculous. For us to have made forward progress is miraculous. You know what I'm saying? We could do a whole lot more, but then when you really start looking at the madness that we have been through and look at how our children are responding to it, it's almost as if, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing without the proper guidance at this point in time. Because who wouldn't be crazy after almost 400 to 500 years of the shit that we've been through? You know what I'm saying? And it's almost as if we have been brought, we have totally been brought into the wolf's den.
I was telling someone on my radio show this evening, I was dealing with some of the comments that Bill Clinton made to the Black Lives, Matter people, and I said that the issue that I had with Bill Clinton is, the audacity to want to chastise, black folks about family, issues that we have as a black family. I take exception to, him wanting to chastise, and but also talk about this panel discussion I was on at a church last Friday, and at the end of this panel discussion, the black pastor thought it was necessary to apologize to the white folks when a brother had made a statement that no people have been done and treated the way that black folks have been treated, which nobody should be surprised as to why we act and the way we are. And this pastor went on to say he begged to differ, that the Jews suffered more than black folks. I'm sorry. I'm serious, man. And I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell you something.
I'm sorry.
I held on to my, I conjured up my grandmother, my mother, and all of the people that I know respected and appreciated the church and what the church did for them, and that kept me in that seat, instead of walking out until this thing was over with, But it's that kind of, stuff that people don't realize, man. No people had done to them what we had done to us, in our psyche and physically. There's been a complete and thorough job done on the physical and mental spirit of black people. And for that pastor to say that the Jews suffer more than black folks, I almost walked out of the church it just took everything I could to stay in that seat.
See, I think that's part of the madness of being drawn into the wolf's den and being totally ripped up to a point where we can't even acknowledge our pain without recognizing somebody else's pain. You know what I'm saying? It's sad that we can't feel the grief of what we have been through without feeling guilty about it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We have been been made to carry. We have been made to carry America's guilt. You know what I'm saying? And to stand up for. I mean, it's almost like we suffer. We are showing signs. Some of us, we show signs of abuse of an abused child that really loves his parent. They love their parent. They don't want it to. You know what I'm saying? They go through hell every night, get the shit beat out of them, and they don't want to tell. But you could look at the black eye, and they be like, "I really don't got it that bad." You know? I mean, it's sad.
No, oppression will make you love your oppressor more than you love yourself.
In hopes that they will be a little bit nicer too.
Right.
In hopes that they would give you a whole mutton rather than just pieces of the bone.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Look at brother.
You gotta roll.
I have to jump off. Jan is always good. Just sitting there dropping his knowledge with you.
Yep, you too.
All right, so I'm gonna give you claps on the way out. This brother Charles will be out. I have to ask.
What?
Miss Janice, because you told me about because your mom is a Delta, you and your sister, and now your niece is a Delta. Was your mom the first Delta in your family, or is it?
Yep.
Okay. Because I was wondering because now. Is there any? Because this is what I was wondering. Is there any members of any Greek fraternity that you know of, any Black Greek fraternity that is related to the founders of the organization, like somebody that's been in generation?
Oh yeah, of course.
I didn't know. I'm just asking. I didn't know.
Yeah. Yes, of course.
I was just wondering about that. All right, because that's all I wanted to know.
The sister that was the national chaplain for our sorority for a long time is actually the granddaughter of one of the founders.
Okay, that's what I wanted to hear. That's what I wanted to know. I mean, because is this something that's? I mean, so the next question is, for your sorority, the relationship that you have with the situation that you have going on in your family is not unique. There's other people that's like 3 generations deep and more.
Well, unique in relation to what? I can tell you that if a person, just like what the other stats bear out, if a person is born to parents who go to college, there's a much higher likelihood that that kid will go to college. If a person is raised in a home by someone who's a member of a Black Greek letter organization, the chance of that kid becoming a member is greater because that's a part of their natural experience. And so it's rare only in that still very few Black people go to college and get degrees. It's rare only in that even when you have Black folks who go to college to get degrees, rarely do you see chronologically back-to-back generations of Black folks get degrees. But for those that, there are lots of folk, however, who, like me, have multiple generations of family in an organization.
Okay. I just want to know. That's it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So, so now back to the folktale, because I had to ask, because I'm into legacy building.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and that's legacy right there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that was when I saw that picture, I was like, ooh, that's dope.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But now, back, you got anything else you want to share on the folktale?
No, I liked it. It just makes me really, I talk all the time about the importance of parents taking seriously the preparation that they need to put into sending a kid to school. But this also makes me think about, again, the real power that people have who call themselves teachers today. We have a lot of things we need to teach these kids to make them be able to even take care of themselves. And so that when they're confronted with a situation that might look good and sound good, like was presented here in the fable, the kids will have the ability to think themselves into the good situation and not the bad one.
Right. They'll recognize it.
Right.
They'll recognize the situation. Hey, that look like a den. This look like...
Right. Right.
I heard this somewhere before.
Right,
and that's
exactly.
And this is how, for generations before the incursions, this is how we educated ourselves, man.
That's right.
Oh my God. So, and like you said, with parents, because these right here, man, look, my son is almost old enough to really start understanding them. He knows some of the stories. You know what I'm saying? And my daughters, they know some of the stories. But I just can't wait till they get to a point where I'm able to see, like when they 16 and 17, when they're able to get the 16 and 17 message from these. You know what I'm saying? And then be able to talk to them if if I'm blessed enough to see them make it into their 30s and their 40s, to see where they are with it, because they got it a lot younger than me. You know what I'm saying? So, because that's the whole piece. It ain't no good if it ain't legacy building. Like I said, that's why I asked you about that, because when I see that and I see, wow, I knew her. I know her. And I'm like, wow. And I know other dudes that, because I was talking to one dude and he said, yeah, my father is this and I'm that now. I said, oh, so it's all around me. And then a lot of the people that we went to school with are now got kids on their way to college. I'm saying, oh, man. Oh, right. Man. So yeah, man. I'm just so we are living in we're living in a place now where we have a true opportunity to flip the world upside down. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? In a good way. Those of you that's listening to some of the West Asians out there listening to, we mean nobody no harm. We just want peace. You know what I'm saying? And everybody get the lessons out of these folk tales, out of these proverbs, out of these quotes. But like I said, I do realize that I'm in a wolf den. I got to fight my way up out this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Because they trying to tear me to shreds, and I have to get my kids up out the wolf den. You know what I'm saying? So I want to say thank you for joining me. I'm gonna try to cut this video up because I'm videotaping it at the same time. I don't know how it's gonna come out. I got pictures of wolves and stuff flowing through. Oh, okay. Look, girl, I'm on some serious nation building, because this is the new territory. The internet and the Facebook and all this stuff. How's your page doing?
I haven't done anything. I haven't been doing anything. I got to get refocused and get busy.
Okay, go and share the page so some of those people that might be listening, if they wanted to come and follow your page, go. What is it?
The blog. The Annihilation of Public Education.
Okay, cool. But you got a Facebook page too.
.com. Yep, and Facebook is Janice Rowley, Rowley.
Okay, cool. All right, so you heard it. Go and follow the teacher. She be dropping some mind benders on there. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, this is Brother Hatim. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, and we are out. So,
good job.
Thank you. I'm gonna drop this commercial, and then we out of here. Alright, seems that my computer has frozen on me. So what we're going to do is we're going to end the session. And I will catch y'all at another time. Because my computer has frozen. Because I got so many little windows open. Follow you like many of you have blessed me and followed me. So let's go and spread the love. And I don't want to end y'all abruptly and disrespectfully, but I'm going to have to shut this down. Y'all hear it messing up in the background? Alright, here we go.